Nocturne. There's your designer. Illustrated by Beth Sobel, AG, Flatout Games. On the back, 30 to 45 minutes, 1 to 4 players, 10 and up. Your contents. Take on the role of a fox mystic, casting spells and collecting enchanted items in a magical moonlit forest. Nocturne is a beautiful puzzly game for the whole family. Each time you play, you will encounter different twilight and moonlight goals, concoction recipes to brew, powerful player abilities, and a unique layout of the forest to explore. This will necessitate new strategies and tactics to outwit your opponents in this unique, highly interactive, spatial set collection game. Alrighty, so let us get this box open and see what's inside. Alright, so here is Nocturne. Let's get that box open. We'll show this is the Forest Sprite board. Double-sided, looks the same on both sides. Let's get to this rule book. So there's your overview. Here are all your components. Your setup. The advanced setup is basically you flip over your card so you have a special ability. Usable once per game. Gameplay overview, the spell casting phase, go through twilight goals, corner casting, passing on a starting spell, collecting item tiles, end of the twilight round, end of the moonlight round, scoring example, the solo mode, which you will be able to see the same day that this video is posted. So if you're watching this video, the solo mode playthrough will be live as well. I'll link that right above. The family mode, scenarios and achievements, certain challenges you can do, and then the back page. These are tiles. I'll get these laid out here in a bit. We will go here with these player discs. You'll see these are nice thick wood chips in the player colors, and then these are shadow tokens. Really nice design, really bright and vibrant colors. Let's push those out of the way. Next up, score pad. Yeah, she didn't do too well on this one, but next time she'll get me. She had to get used to the flow of the game. And then we have cards upon cards. These are Kickstarter promo packs, more cards, and your animals. So let me get the cards laid out, and then I'll show you the tiles, and then I'll show you how to play. Alright, so here are the cards. First, let's focus in on the animal cards. This is their special power side. You'll also see the 2 above. That's because you get 2 points if you don't use it. And you'll notice they have a symbol on them that deals with the concoction cards, which we're going to get into after I really show you these. Okay, we are going to get into those concoction cards. You'll see they want symbols, and you get points. You get 3 points if you complete that, or 7 points if you get it all. These different color ones are your starting concoction cards that you'll get at the beginning of the game. So here are all of those concoction cards. And then after that, we're going to move over here. There are twilight goals and midnight goals. Or moonlight goals, I mean. So the twilight goals are going to happen after or in the first round, and the moonlight goals are going to happen during the second round. So here are all of your different goals. And I'll be right back with all of the tiles. And here are those tiles for Nocturne. Let's kind of zoom in here. So you have some different ones. You have mysterious eggs, you have some herbs, you have different types of mushrooms, you have some feathers, some runes, some cursed chests, and they all kind of score differently or have certain powers, which I will get into when I teach you how to play the game. But for now, take a gander at the plethora of tiles. Alrighty, so stick around for that how to play. Alright, we are set up for a 2-player game of Nocturne. What's different in the in the different player counts is the size of the grid and what discs you start off with, as well as how many tiles are laid out on the 4 sprite board. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to give each character a character card and all the discs in their color. Again, in a 3-player game, you'd have less discs. In a 4-player game, you'd have even less discs. You then are going to shuffle the starter concoction cards and deal 1 to each player face down. They can look at it. I'll leave this face up so you can see it. You're then going to shuffle the basic concoction deck and put it off to the side where everyone can reach. Next, you're going to be shuffling the Twilight Goals and Moonlight Goals. You're going to put 3 Twilight Goals out, face up, 3 Moonlight face down, and then you're going to put the shadow tokens face up in a row above it. You're going to thoroughly shuffle the item tiles, leave them in stacks. I like doing 4 stacks because in a 2-player game, it's a 4x4 grid and 4 tiles out there, so it just has that nice symmetry for myself. But you can put them in as many stacks as you like. You're then going to build a grid based on player count. In a 2-player, it's a 4x4. You're going to place the 4 sprite board out here and then put tiles on for the player count. So we have 4, it'd be 5 in a 3-player and 6 in a 4-player game. If you are doing the advanced setup, you'll have your character flipped over to the side that shows the 2, which gives you a special power. Otherwise, they'll just be on their normal side. And that is it for setup. You are then ready to begin. So the game is played over 2 rounds, a Twilight round and a Moonlight round, and each round is played over a number of phases of spell casting phases. At the beginning of each round, the Twilight round or the Moonlight round, whoever is going to go first takes their lowest numbered disc and puts it on any tile they want. In future spellcasting phases, you can start with any number. However, again, the first one of each round needs to be your lowest available disc. And you can put that on any of the tiles. Then it goes to the next player's turn. They have one of 2 options. They can cast a spell or they can just pass. If they cast a spell, they need to play a spell level higher than what you played and onto one of the tiles orthogonally adjacent to the current highest casted spell. They can go 1 higher, or they can go all the way up to 7, or they can play their special spell one, which means it copies in essence the number of the last one played, but you immediately win. But so for instance, this player may put out the 3 there, and then green might go 4, and then orange really wants that mirror stone, so they'll put their 7 there. Comes back to green. Green has 2 options still. They could place this one there to immediately get that, or they can pass. So if they pass, then orange is going to get this tile. They're going to take the disc they used, flipped it upside down, left it there, and put that tile in their display. We are then going to take back any tiles that did not succeed, and if you did not win a tile, you have 2 options. Take your disc, all your discs back to your supply, or put one of them on the forest sprite board. So in this instance, let me put my 1 on the forest sprite board. Then, whoever won the spell is going to start the next spell casting phase. They can take any disc, and then they need to cast adjacent to where they won. So maybe they'll go 3, and then I'll just jump right into and grab a 7, and they say, fine, I can take that. So, when you take this specific tile, the rune tiles, again, you'll put it here, and it's got a symbol here. I'll go over that with the concoction cards, but that allows you to draw 3 concoction cards, look at them, keep 1, and then put the other 2 on the bottom. You're going to keep going back and forth like this until everyone has passed if they don't want no more tiles, or there are no tiles left. Let me go back to this. So once I won that, they take that back. They can choose again to put it in their supply or put on the forest sprite board. How the forest sprite board works is if they put a 3 here, it is higher than a 1, so that would go right there. In a future round, if I decide to put my 2, I push my 1 and push the 2 there. They will keep moving down, and then if it ever gets pushed off based on player count, it'll go back to your supply. So again, back and forth until all tiles are gone, until everyone has passed. There are a couple of specific rules that can happen while you are casting. So, if for example green had captured this tile here, they now have an option of what's called corner casting. Corner casting is when you cast on a tile that no one else can then cast off of because there is no orthogonally adjacent spot. So I could put my 3 there, immediately win this, flip this over. Now, however, I do not get to place the next disc, for I have nowhere to go with it. So it goes to the next player, and they can now put any numbered disc anywhere in the grid. The other thing you can do is if you're starting, you can just pass on doing the starting. In that instance, the next person in order can put their disc anywhere on the grid, but you have passed, so you can no longer put out any discs that turn. So in a 2-player, you're in essence, you're letting the next person grab whatever one they want. So, as you're playing discs and going forth, you're going to want to keep an eye on these Twilight goals. Some of these happen during the round, some get awarded at the end. So for instance, this is be the first to corner cast. So had green been able to do that, they would take this, put in their supply for end of game points. Both of these actually happen during the round as well, so you'll want to keep an eye out, so if you do that, you're going to take it to your display. So at the end of the Twilight round, again when all tiles are gone or everyone has passed, you are going to do certain aspects in order. First thing you're going to do is you're going to resolve the forest sprite board. Starting with whoever's disc is the highest right here, they're going to flip it over and take one of these tiles from the board to their display. Then you're going to keep going until everyone has selected a tile. Seeing as I just grabbed one, the cursed chests let you grab 3 tiles out of the stacks, look at them, and keep one, discarding the other 2 from the game. So after you have resolved the forest sprite board, you are going to award shadow spell tokens. Everyone who has tokens left in their main supply, starting with whoever has the highest leftover spell token, is going to take the highest shadow token. And these are going to get dispersed. And then you're going to retrieve all of your spell tokens back, like so. And then for every shadow token you have, you need to discard one of your tokens, starting with the lowest. So if I have the 10, I'll discard my 1. If I had another one, I'll discard my 2. And so in that regards, when you get to the first person who casts, their lowest one may even be a 3 or a 4, depending on how many shadow tokens they ended up getting. All the Twilight goals will be gone, so then you are going to reveal the Moonlight goals, which in this instance, these happen at the end of the game, and everyone can score these. These are not claimed by a player. You are then going to refill the grid. If there was any tiles left, you're going to discard them, and you're going to put out 16 new tiles, and then you'll refill the forest sprite board. Again, if there's any on there, discarding it, and putting 4 more tiles on the board. So then you are ready to start the Moonlight round. The Moonlight round is played the same way as the Twilight round, except you're going to be wanting to focus a lot more on these as you go, because again, these can be awarded numerous times and to all players. So at the end game happens when again all the tiles are gone or everyone's has passed, just like how the Twilight round ends, except in this instance it will end the game. You are then going to one last time resolve the forest sprite board. At this time, you can assign the mirror stones. When you assign a mirror stone, it's going to copy the tile, but no symbols on it. You'll then proceed to scoring. Everything kind of scores a bit differently. Your skull tokens have a point value on them, so each skull is worth the points that is shown. Next up, you're going to look at feathers. Based on how many feathers you have is how many points you're going to score. 1 to 7. If you have more than 7, you're just going to start a new one. So if you have 9 feathers, you have 32 plus 4. You're going to look at your mushrooms. There's 2 different types of mushrooms. These mushrooms, if you have 1 of them, 0. If you have 2 of them, you get 9 points. This 1 is 3, 2 is 0, 3 is 13. You need to complete a set before you can start a second set. So I can't be like, well, I have 2 of these, so 3 and 3. Nope, they have to go together so you have 0 points. You have your herbs. Your herbs, you'll notice, have a point value here, and then letters and different pictures. You're going to get the point value listed on them, and then an additional point depending on how many different letters you have, up to 5. 3, 4, or 5 of them, and there is one that's in here that's got a W, and that counts as wild. You then are going to look at your eggs. Whoever has the most eggs is going to get 4 points each for every egg, second place 3 points, etc. Then your chests are going to be -1 point, and the runes give no points. After that, you are going to be looking at your concoction cards. For your concoction cards, you're going to try and complete the top part with 2, and then if you get all of this, it's 6, 2, or 5. Symbols can only be used once for all concoction cards, so in order to satisfy these, I need 2 eggs, 3 plant symbols, 2 skulls, a mushroom, and a feather. You can use the ones on your starting player character, and then that's why some of these have 2. So this would count for those 2, but I couldn't then use that for that one as well, because I need 3 total. After concoction cards, you're going to get any points for any twilight goals listed on those cards. You're then going to look at the moonlight goals, and these are going to be based on where your tokens are on the board at the end of the game. This one gives you 3 points per control area, this shape. Tokens can only be used once per gold card. So if I had this symbol, I would only have this once for 3 points because I don't count these again. Now had these been gone and I had that and that, I would score this twice, once for here and once for here. This one wants 3 per control area, exactly 3, so I would not be able to score it here because I have 6 total. But had I been like that, I have 3, so I'd be fine. And then 4 points per control area, this shape, again, looking at the diagonals. After that, you're going to get 2 points if you have any of your numbered discs remaining at the end of the game that you haven't used, and then 2 points if you haven't used your character. Total those all up, highest points wins the game. So the special tiles, I already went over the cursed chest, already went over the runes, so that is all you need to know for Nocturne. Hope you enjoyed, hope you check out that solo play I mentioned earlier. So until next time, go to sleep.